And we are live. And no, I didn't just happen to send the link 1 minute ago to our guest. He's had it all this time. Andy, welcome to the show. How are you
Thank you.
doing?
I'm doing really, really good. I've had way too much coffee. So, unfortunately, y'all are the product of my overcaffeinated brain, and I apologize in advance for the mischief and chaos that I will be unleashing.
That we
Uh,
love to hear that. Mischief and chaos from the guest is that just makes our life so much easier, and we are here for it, every bit of it.
so at least one person believes you're legendary.
To me, Ganesh is legendary. He's one of my favorite human beings.
He
Uh,
is. He's pretty wonderful.
yeah. Hey, Nick, glad you made it.
And then this guy is here. I don't know.
Madness,
You're
madness
watch
incarnate.
you're watching your own thing. That's odd. Okay.
And welcome, welcome. We have stories that are both true and fictional going to go on here today, I think. Um, so very apt. So Andy, let's start off with the very basics. Where are you calling in from?
From Vancouver, Canada. It is currently sunny outside. Um, Yesterday we went for a walk by the water. It was lovely. You're getting the sunset. We're like halfway done with the walk, as far from the car as we could possibly be. And Vancouver lives up to its name of Vancouver and just hits us with like a downpour. It took us like 20 minutes to get back to the car. We were soaking wet. That's
Nice,
Vancouver for you.
nice.
You would think that knowing that that's Vancouver, um, you would have had a brelly.
Well, the thing is, we were deceived,
Ah,
like the kings of Man and Lord of the Rings. We were deceived because the summer has been so pleasant. There have been, like the lightest little showers here and there. You get a really like heavy rain seasons, but this is still summer, right? And then boom, we were deceived, and it's raining. But it was all part of the adventure. It was
well,
a lovely day.
you can say the quiet part out loud and say it's been lovely up here in Canada all summer because there are no Americans here. We're not going to be offended by that. We get it.
I mean, I was at Worldcon. I had a blast with all y'all Americans.
We have our moments, and from the central part of Canada is Tim McKay. Welcome, Tim.
Welcome, Tim, fellow Canadian, Great White Northerner.
I saw something on Facebook the other day that made it look like Bob and Doug McKenzie were doing another like uh, a sequel to Strange Brew, and I got all excited until I realized it was, not true. There's like probably
So,
two people out there who know what I'm talking about, so that's all right.
so Andy, I have to ask because I kind of didn't believe it, and I told Roe, and he was like, "Shit,
Nope,
really?"
nope, don't believe it.
Um, I went on Amazon and I counted 50 different books by Andy Pelican. Is that true?
You know what?
Pelican?
I so it's technically Peloquin, but I don't want to sound like a douchebag, so I've been Peloquin my whole
Oh,
life.
Peloquin. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I say 45 because at last count it was something like 47 ish. And so I just say 45. Next year I will count and it will be 50, and then it will be 50. But some of those books are like anthologies that I submitted to, or things like that. But 45 to 50. When you get to this many books, what's one or two between friends? Boy, that sounded real boastful.
So, are what skincare cream do you use? Because you've got to be like 106 years old, right?
I wish I was that old, because then I would have a lot more books.
Uh, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
Uh, 37. Yeah.
Oh
And
God.
when did you start writing? Like right out of the womb? Did you come out with like one ready to go?
I didn't. I was a pretty terrible, young artist. My family is all very artistic. My dad's a musician. My mom is a teacher, and she comes from an artistic background. I have artist, graphic designer, 3D artist siblings. My brothers are web designers. Like, I'm the least artistic person in my family until I discovered writing. I was like, okay, I can actually do this. But I didn't really start writing for real until I was in my mid 20s. Yeah, this has been basically 10 years of being published as of July, and about 12 years of writing.
Wow.
I'm my head is stumped doing the math on that. Tell me you take advantage mercilessly of your siblings' abilities for graphic arts and web design and everything to do all that shit that we don't like doing.
You know what? My first book covers were designed by my sister, and I still maintain that they are some of the coolest. If you look up Blade of the Destroyer on Goodreads, you will see the artwork that my sister did. And you know what? I think if it ever comes time to do like a deluxe edition of Darkblade, I want to use that old cover because my God, that was it was a real like heavy metal dark cover that just it was awesome. I couldn't do it, because you have to make a book cover that sells, but that artwork was so perfect for the character.
Oh, it's kind of cool. Yeah. I'll get this mic and pull it up here.
Okay. I was going to ask you something and it just went right away.
Yeah. What happens?
Yeah. See, this is what happens when you get to our age. You forget everything. So you're putting out like 4 to 5 books a year.
Right now, so my books are long. This is the last one. This is 300,000 words. So I can
Holy hell.
I can do 2 of these.
What did I just do? Nope, sorry about that. Yeah, I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. You said 300,000 words, and I just got all kinds of hot and bothered by that, and I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry.
Just imagine that artwork with like gilded foil, right? Or like
that would be cool, right?
Shiny foiled effect. God, that would be a cool like deluxe edition cover.
Yeah, it was EL, absolutely. So I'm going to go out on a limb then and say this is what you do for a living now?
Yes, it is. So I have kept some day job stuff because I lost a lot of hair and gained a lot of stress during the COVID years when everything was very unpredictable. So I needed to kind of keep some stable income so that when you had bad sales months, I wasn't losing my shit. So I've kind of kept a hand in day stuff, but it's been I'm gonna say like 60 to 75% of my time is spent writing these days.
So on a poor day, how many words are you putting down? It's got to be something stupid.
I do 2 chapters a day. That is 3,000 to 5,000 words, 5 days a week, 4 weeks out of the month, like consistent. I mean, that's what it comes down to, is just that consistency of writing the same amount. There are no bad days, really. Like obviously there are bad days, but if you just tell yourself you can't have a bad day and you just sit down and write the words, even if they suck, you can come back and edit them, and that's how you write. I think my record is like 850, 900,000 words in a year, except for when I was doing the Cerberus, my sci-fi series. I wrote 12 books in 13 months. And each of those books was around 90 to 120,000 words.
So I guess the part of me that really wants to just be okay with this and not totally feel like I should just crawl under a freaking blanket. I guess if that's your job 8 hours a day, right? That's what you do.
You live that, you flex that muscle all the time. It just becomes the thing.
So obviously that's not like your whole 8-hour day. So you're taking I'm assuming, I don't know, you tell me, that you kind of chunk it up and I want to do this kind of thing for a couple of hours. And then, so what's that look like for you?
So it's pretty much the same every day. It is wake up at 6, work by 7 to 8:30 as the day job stuff. 8:30 to 9:30 is breakfast, cleaning. I watch TV or something like while I'm cooking and eating to kind of clear my brain so I can sit down to write with a fresh head. 9:30 till around 11:30 is a chapter. 11:30 to 12:30 is social media. It's how I manage to post to Instagram and TikTok 2 videos every day, 7 days a week, basically, because I make that time there to do it. Half an hour for a quick lunch, an hour to read, and rest my eyes for 20 minutes, nice little power nap, get my strength back up, 2 o'clock making coffee, 2:45 sitting down to write till 4:30 at the latest, gym, more afternoon work, dinner, relaxing evening. That's basically my life 5 days a week. That consistency and that routine makes sure that I have pauses in between to do all the other things. I find that if I write after about an hour and a half, and any more than 2 hours, I feel my brain start to sag. I can't do those long stretches. So breaking it up like that, it makes it a lot easier to write a chapter and then just get up and go do anything else. And then I get everything I need to do done in a day.
So it's a little after 4 where you're at, right?
Yeah.
So you should be at the gym, but you're here with 2 grumpy old white men instead.
Exactly.
Nice. So I feel like, we're sabotaging you.
If you're going to give up something, the gym is really the first thing to go.
Absolutely. It's the first. Unfortunately, that is often what happens. The first thing to go is the gym, because like I've been really good at keeping the work sort of the sacred, right? 5 days a week, 2 chapters a day. And that's how I'm able to do it, which does mean that other stuff gets sacrificed. Exercise is often the first one to go. Holidays, what are those? But it's a sacrifice that I'm like, if I can make that, then it's what allows me to keep doing this. I can keep writing as full time as I want because I have that consistency, effectively.
So when you're writing, do you just do one book, knock it out, then go to the next, or are you working on 2 or 3 different ones at the same time?
I have worked on multiple books at the same time, but it really messes with my brain. So I prefer to work with one at a time, because I love my stories go super deep, in the sense of they're almost all single point of view character stories that are just focused on one really linear storyline. Everything that's happening is just moving forward, but you go deep into the character, you go deep into the world, the immediate world. So if I'm kind of thinking about that and only that, then I don't make anything too similar or homogenous. So when I wrote the Heirs of Destiny series, my young adult series, that has 4 point of view characters, and I found that I was writing 2 of the point of view characters a little too similar for my liking, because I was working on them kind of back to back. You're writing one POV, then you switch POVs, and you keep doing it like that. I don't like that. I want every character to feel very distinct, so I feel like doing it one at a time. Even when I was doing the Dragon Blood Assassin series with JD Castle, I would write the whole storyline for one character, and then if I needed the other character to come in, I would stop there and I would get into the other character's story and kind of catch up and then move forward like that. And that way I could kind of weave everything together.
So you actually go through the whole book with one character, and then you kind of go back and add in.
Yeah. So the one that I'm working on, or that I just finished before the current Darkblade, is 2 point of view characters, and they spend a lot of their time apart, but they do come together at separate, at various points in the timeline. So having that time spent apart means I can focus on their story and really get into who they are as human beings and their story and their struggles, their emotional stakes, the flow of their plot. And then if they intersect, I know where they've come from and I know where they need to go, but I've built enough of them that I can stop and go to the other character and push them forward and really get into them. And then that's how I can write the 2 characters that feel so different, and yet they're kind of in this same world and intersect and all of that.
So how I mean, do you sit down and say, okay, I want to make a character, and then do like one of these, I forgot the guy's name, one of those big character inventories, or are you just kind of making them up as you go and then say, okay, I need somebody else and I kind of want them to be like this, or do you actually make a character sheet kind of thing and say, this is what this person's kind of deal is?
Yes. In the sense of, you do the different things for the different characters. For the main character, the one who's driving the story, I need to really know who they are and what motivates them, what drives them, have an understanding of them as much as anyone can, with a 2-dimensional outline, because an outline will always be very, very flat. You'll get some character development, some stuff, but it's really when you start writing them and you hear the way that they talk and the way that they respond to situations. I love starting with action scenes, because the way that a character responds to danger to their life or someone else's life tells me so much about them. And I love discovering that through a great action scene, and that's almost more interesting to me than anything else they do. Just the way that, like, so the Darkblade series is an assassin. The Dragonblood Assassin series also is an assassin, but they have such different sort of power sets that they approach their assassination so differently. And so just using the action to start building the character, that's what draws me into a story. And then I can go in later, in later scenes and slow things down and take the time. But having a fairly complex outline for the main characters gets me started. And then I kind of build in characters as I need. Some of them I know from the beginning they need to be like this. Some of them I'm like, they're just going to be here. So in the book I'm currently working on right now, I introduced this sailor. They're shipwrecked. They need somebody to say, here's how to sail a rowboat, right? None of these guys are real boat savvy. So I introduced the sailor knowing I'm going to save his death for a really impactful moment. I'm 100 and some thousand words into the book. I have not yet found the time for him to die. Will he die? I don't know.
Right.
Because the story has evolved and the character has become so much more interesting for me. So a lot of the character development of like the secondary characters, the side characters, I let it happen organically in the moment, and that makes it feel so much more, I will say, real than having like a structured outline that I follow.
So it would be safe to say that you are a plotter?
I am 75% plotter, 25% pantser. Or maybe, maybe it's more, maybe, I don't know, 60-40 at this point. I have an outline before I go in because I know I got to write a chapter this morning and a chapter this afternoon, and I got to do this for the rest of the month and then until the book's done. So having this outline just gives me a way to move forward. But I leave enough space for flexibility and adaptability, and I trust that when my when my brain tells me do this, even though if it deviates from the outline, I've written enough books at this point that I have to trust my instinct, and it always ends up being more interesting.
Okay, Rach has a question for you.
If I was to write for an existing franchise, which would I pick? You know what would be probably the dream would be to write a Lies of Locke Lamora story. Like that one.
Oh, wow.
Just playing in that world with those characters. I don't know if I have the skill to write that, but I would love that. Either that or like a Wolverine or the Punisher story. I could do either of those characters in my sleep.
What was the first one you said?
Lies of Locke Lamora. Okay. It's yet another book that I started and I didn't like, but that's so many. So,
but like whether or not you liked the actual story, if you just look at it from like a purely world building, fantastical perspective, so much of what he does, like the world is so colorful, it's so vivid and visceral. You experience everything. It is honestly one of the greatest fantasy worlds that I've ever lived in. Love or hate the characters, love or hate the plot, but world building alone, spectacular.
So I have a question for you, because I will come clean and say I have not read anything by you yet. I mean, you haven't taken over the entire library, but that's coming. So I knew you mostly as a grimdark author. Is that mostly what you write? Or
Grimdark is the Queen of Thieves series. Dark epic fantasy is Darkblade. Action adventure, young adult is Heirs of Destiny. Military fantasy is The Silent Champions. Dragonblood Assassin is kind of your classic generic epic fantasy. And then Cerberus is sci-fi. So I kind of write a subgenre of fantasy for everybody. So like one series is a subgenre because I love all those things. Like I will stand by the Black Company as one of the greatest grimdark series of all times. But it's the military stuff that I love about that. So then I want that same military action, or like to match, the Faithful and the Fallen, just those big battle scenes. I love it. You can't get that in a proper grimdark storyline. No, Darkblade is very much not grimdark. It is dark epic fantasy, but there is so much hopefulness to it that it ends up being like it goes so dark, and yet it comes out just enough that there is this hopeful, optimistic note to it, which is such a stark contrast with the character of a half demon assassin with a cursed dagger that drives him to kill.
So my question for you, since it does skew dark, at least for most of them, so how much do you like killing characters?
Oh, so much, so much.
You'd hate getting up in the morning if you didn't, I don't think.
No, the truth is that I love making you fall in love with a character and then giving that death meaning because of it. I like, it is the greatest challenge in the world for me to write a character that readers get angry about me killing off, because it means that I got them emotionally invested. And for me as a reader, and also as a human being, right, that kind of emotional investment is that's the high that I'm chasing as a writer and as a reader. I want to feel things. So if I can make you mad enough that you will send me hate mail for a character, which it's my favorite thing about writing this kind of things, is I love it when people care. You know, Joe, I will say that I am an optimistic enough human being that I think I could restrain my murderous impulses to write Rohan. I definitely don't have the Joe Byrne witty sarcasm and all of that, but I have the optimism. Yeah.
So up there in Canada with your National Health Service, do they provide therapy, like counseling sessions that you could take advantage of?
I've purposely avoided those because I kind of need to stay this optimistic
keep it on edge.
Right. So, Andy, as a service to our people who are watching, and who are upset at characters that you've killed, can you tell us your home address? and what hours you're home?
We want to send you something. Who's been your favorite character to kill? And
I mean, that's kind of spoiling.
I was going to say that's very spoilery.
All right. Well, don't give us the name. Just tell us why you enjoyed it so much.
Oh, okay. I wrote in the last book that I finished, I wrote in a character that I just needed a one-off character. I needed something cool. I wrote them in, and then by the end of the chapter, or a couple of chapters later, I was like, I am going to make you cry over this character. So this series is one that's coming out in the future. I learned from the Matt Dinniman School of Comedy, which is do the most ridiculous thing and then lean into it, make everybody care about that thing, right? If you've read Dungeon Crawler Carl, he will introduce the dumbest things that makes no sense. It's just pure absurdist comedy. You're laughing your ass off. And then by the end of the book, he's given you this emotional resolution to this absurd thing that should make no sense, but because he really committed to the bit, you care. So that is what I've been doing with this other series. It's sort of comedic fantasy, or we're going to call it comedic dark epic fantasy. And it's very much that. You do the most ridiculous thing at any given moment and then commit to the bit. And this character that I wrote in to kill off was committing to the bit. I was like, not only did I write in this character that is just, anybody who knows me and reads this book, they will be like, Andy, what the fuck, bro? Which I absolutely love. And then you read through it, and by the end of it, you're sobbing over this character's death. It is probably one of my proudest moments in writing.
So how many books do you have that are finished, their writing is finished, but they are in some process of pre-publication?
Right now, it's just 2.
2, okay.
Yeah, just 2.
So you try to time them so that you got like a new one hitting every 3 months or something?
Before, when I was writing shorter books, yes. Right now it's I think I'm releasing between every 6 to 9 months. But so with this other series that I was writing, I was interspersing it between Darkblade and other projects. So these books are also longer. They're in the, I think, the 220,000 word range, give or take. So they take a while to write as well, but they will probably come out, later on. And when I have them releasing at the same time as Darkblade and the other stories that I've got going on, it will be a book every, I don't know, 6 months, every 3 months. It will vary.
I don't know what to do with this, Mike.
Okay, so I'm going to ask our silly question because
Go
I
ahead.
got hope here. I hope Andy's going to answer properly.
This would be like 2 in a week.
I know. So I ask all of our guests, and like 90% of them get it wrong. They agree with Ro. So I want you to envision you're going down the main drag of your city.
Okay.
You're in a saddle. Now that saddle can either be on a T-Rex or a Griffin. Which one do you choose and why?
Vancouver's going to be a T-Rex.
Yes.
A Griffin, the storms and the rain and all of that, a Griffin would not be pleasant.
Okay, so I'm so happy because you're like in the intelligentsia 10% that chooses T-Rex.
You just made his whole week. He's
Month.
going to be
Whole month.
insufferable for the rest of the month.
I have no life, so yeah, it's a whole month, Ro.
Two people agreeing with him in a space of a week is just unheard of.
I love it. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we see eye to eye on this, Mike.
So I have a theory now, because my theory is that people who, like me, are road ragers when they drive, they want the T-Rex because they want to instill violence upon the other drivers. Whereas the Griffin people are like more evenly keeled, and they're just like, I'll just soar over top of it. Is this true?
You know what? I'm going to say this. If cars on the street were bumper cars, as opposed to just regular cars, it would be a very different driving experience. And I have wanted that sometimes.
That would be awesome.
Right?
That would be.
I'm actually a very even-tempered person, but it's driving in Vancouver traffic on these little narrow streets that I'm like, no, I could see myself being a bit of a road rager. Thankfully, I don't drive enough to actually road rage.
I used to be better, but now I have a 35-minute commute. I used to have a 4-minute commute, so
Yeah.
My only real connection to Canadian drivers is from Quebec, and we would use them because they drive really fast down the highway. We would use them as radar detectors, basically. You let one get about a quarter mile ahead of you, and then you just keep up.
I love that.
They will get pulled over, and you can slow down, and it's all good. Yep.
That is spectacular.
Yes, EL, you missed T-Rex. Andy did pick the T-Rex.
So awesome.
So you've got like 6 series right now?
Yeah, 6 series with a 7th coming out in sometime in the near future.
These aren't trilogy. Are they all like 7 and 8 book series?
So it is one trilogy with 4 companion novels, novellas, which I wrote for the Kickstarters, the deluxe edition, as something special to offer readers, and they just became just stories that I absolutely adore. One is a Darkblade is the current one. This is 10 of these, and there will be 15 in all. Heirs of Destiny is 6. Silent Champions is 6. Dragon Blood Assassin is 4. Cerberus is 13.
Wow.
And
okay.
And are any of those finished series? Or are you still adding to them?
All of them except for Darkblade are currently finished.
Okay.
But they all have connections to everything else. So you go from one to the other. On my website, there is a suggested reading order, and it says start here, go here, go here, go here, go here, go here, and you just kind of go through the whole, and it becomes this reading experience that, like, again, Marvel Comics guy, love Marvel Comics. Wolverine pops.
It's the book version of the MCU.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Marvel Comics has Wolverine pop up on the Avengers and Spider-Man team up with the Fantastic Four. That blew my teenage brain. I was like, this is the greatest thing, because I love both of these things, and now they're in the same room together. So when I started writing, I started with Darkblade, and I I entered into kind of a writing masterclass, crash course, whatever, a class. And they were like, don't take what you're working on now, start something new. So I had to come up with a new story. And in the first Darkblade book, I introduced one of the hunter's personas. He pretends to be various people. One of them is this nobleman from a city that is 10 days away. So it's close enough that he can, excuse coming and going, but it's far enough away that he's not there, connecting and dealing with people all the time. So it was just the perfect way to use the character. But then I was like, how cool would it be if I could write a story set in that city? So that's exactly what I did. I wrote a story set in that other city. And in fact, they come to the hunter city, and it's sort of before the start of Darkblade. And they're like, don't go to the roofs. They belong to the hunter. He will fuck you up. And so I fell in love with this idea of weaving everything together. So in fact, when I wrote, to answer your question, EL, I wrote the series that was originally called The Last Bucellari, and then it became Hero of Darkness, and then I rewrote it as Darkblade in 2021. But when I originally released it in 2018, I released all these other series, the 3 other series. And in the Silent Champions, the ending of the Silent Champions main story is this kind of resolution and payoff that brings one of the characters' entire journey full circle in a really small way, kind of a side quest that becomes spectacular. And I found a way, because I was rewriting Darkblade afterward, that character's little side quest could pay off and make the hunter's story possible. So it was like this very full circle moment that only existed because I got to write these other series before coming back to rewrite Darkblade.
Okay, so Andy,
go
I
ahead,
just want to say, we do have EL here, and EL typically asks that you show your books. So can you please show us all your books? I'm kidding.
We can go an hour and a half. That's fine.
Yeah. So I have one. So I haven't read it yet, but I got it. Oh, where'd you go?
He's collecting all his books.
Ah.
He's getting them all together. He's been getting a little fuzzy here, so he's probably just having some connectivity issues.
Here, I just thought it was
great
my
questions, everybody on the chat. So please keep those coming. I want to get into a little bit to the business side of this with him. It's just that many books, and they're not small books. It's not like he's punching out, cookie cutter 50,000 word romances, or cookie cutter 50,000 word insert genre here. It doesn't have to be a romance. Jesus, 200,000-300,000 words in a whack. That's crazy. So fill some time, Mike.
Okay, well, while we're waiting, the reason why we have...
hold on. I'm not getting passive aggressive, EL. What the hell are you talking about? I am genuinely in awe of this. Genuinely in awe of this.
The reason why we have Andy on today's show is because when I went to Worldcon, one Nicholas Fuller, I agreed to wear this tattoo that's coming up in just a second. Hey, there's Andy. Where'd you go? Says you here. There you go. There you are.
Sorry about that.
So
my internet just decided it didn't want to work. It was done for the day.
We have that effect on electronics.
So I just want your comment on this great artistic tattoo here.
This was honestly one of the highlights of Worldcon for me. This whole idea, I think it was Nick Fuller's idea about this big pen energy thing, and I was like, this is great. I love this so much. And then he took it all the steps farther, and my life is now, like, my life's goal is complete in a way that I didn't know I needed until seeing this.
So
I won't go as far as to say my life's goal is to see a dick on Mike's head. But it was pretty funny, even for those of us who weren't there. It was pretty awesome.
It was spectacular.
So you're doing this as a living right now. When were you able to start doing that? At
2018.
what point? Huh?
2018. With the launch of Hero of Darkness. So I had the story that was originally called The Last Bucellari, published with a small press, and they did an amazing job of packaging the product. Beautiful edits, all of that. It was a great finished product, but like so many small presses, they didn't really know how to market a book. So I decided, okay, I'm going to learn the ins and outs of marketing and advertising. And so I spent about a year and a half just kind of obsessing about it. I got the rights back and I relaunched it myself. And it's a funny story that I lived in Mexico before and I moved my family to Canada. The night before I flew to Canada is when I launched the book. So the day I'm traveling, I text my wife, hey, I'm turning off my phone because I'm getting on the plane. I'll see you, when I land. And I get to my sister-in-law's house. I was staying with them. And I check, I log on to my KDP dashboard and I call my wife and I'm like, hey, I think Amazon's got a glitch. It's telling me like it sold like $800 worth of books. I'm sure that's a mistake. I will, I'll check it tomorrow and, get on with their customer service and see what's going on. Except the next day it had gone to like $1,000 worth of books. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. And the day after that, it was even more. And I was like, okay, this is just absolutely nuts. So within like the first 3 months of launching Hero of Darkness, I think I made more money than I had in like the 3 years prior on other, sources of income. So basically because of that, I was able to go full time and keep it up ever since, I guess.
So what did you do for a job before that?
I was a copywriter, blogger, all of that. That's still what I do as my day job. And I love it. I love writing in all of its forms. I got into writing because I was already writing, this was sort of the early days of every website needed content, right? How-to articles and all that kind of stuff. So I got lucky enough to jump on that bandwagon in its early days. I think I started in like 2012 or something, or maybe 2010. And I was able to make enough of a living in Mexico at the time that I could support my family. But then within a couple of years of doing that, it became very clear that there's no guaranteed income or retirement plan as a freelancer. So you're basically going to do this job until the day you die, or you're not going to eat. So that was like, okay, I got to figure out how to do that. And so thinking about what I wanted to do, I really did enjoy the writing of it all. But I was like, I could write a nonfiction book and try to sell that. But at the time I was like 24. And so I very quickly realized, what the hell could a 24-year-old know about anything to offer, as a self-help nonfiction book? So I was like, okay, that's not going to happen. And I had written some stories when I was younger, and I just kind of turned those into novels. I came up with this idea for, it was called The Last March of the 13th Rifles. And it's basically Malazan's Chain of Dogs meets the 300, right? Loved 300. It came out around that time. I wanted that. The emotional devastation of 300, I latched onto that so hard. So I wrote that book. And I did it over the weekend that I came to visit my brothers in Vancouver. And I fell in love with just breaking the characters and the readers emotionally. It was so much fun. So I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. The writing and the story of it all was great too, but it was just the fact that I could build up to, I am going to break your heart with these characters that I really adored.
Okay, so Palmer has a question. How many books did you publish before the one that broke through?
So the thing about that is that I published two The Last Bucellari books with this press, and then I published 3 the Queen of Thieves series with another press. Neither of them were selling. I think I made maybe $3,000 over 2 years or something on book sales, which is not at all great. When I got the rights back, I unpublished everything and I just republished the first Hero of Darkness book, which was my first book, but with a good cover, with the good packaging and all of that. And I had written more books, so I was able to rapid release the first 4 books in the Hero of Darkness series. So it was my first one that broke through because I had learned how to do the packaging and the marketing and the advertising. And I got incredibly lucky. Like, all of the things that I did to make sure that this works, combined with a massive amount of luck, made this happen.
Well, the luck can't be replicated, so it's not all luck because you've been doing it now for years.
Yes, but at the beginning it felt like luck. Even now, I look back and I'm like, ooh, that was a massive amount of luck. It's been a lot of hard work to replicate the luck.
Yeah, it's funny how much hard work and luck kind of walk.
Yeah. It's rude because I would just like luck to be easy. Just, there's my book. Oh, I'm a millionaire now. Thank you.
So you said that you spent like a year or so though, just kind of studying the marketing aspect of it. I mean,
yeah.
Very few people are going to do that, right? Take that time and just really, I mean, even though that's probably what we all should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us are kind of at those places in our lives where just finding the time to write is something, much less taking a year off to figure out this new thing. So what are the highlights that people should, I mean, what are the very basics that people should know to not just write Jeff Bezos a check?
So I'm going to say if there are 4 pillars that my career are built on, it is newsletter, advertising, learn Facebook and Amazon advertising for the love of God. Even if you don't spend a lot of money, learn how to do it right. And you can actually spend a lot of money and make a lot of money. Social media, I will say that social media is a game changer, especially paired with advertising. This is I'm seeing this directly right now. I've spent the last 2 years building a following on Instagram and TikTok. I have like 23,000 fans between the 2 platforms, and Facebook serves my ads to my fans and the people who are connected to them, and that leads to greater conversion than if I was just hitting people who have never heard of me before. So it's not the end goal. I love the fact that I get to rave about my friends' books, and I get to call this beautiful bookshelf behind me a business expense. But the fact that I can build a presence on social media and use that to leverage the sales of my books, it's invaluable. I have had people come up to me and say, "Oh, I saw you on TikTok. Oh, I saw you on Instagram," or just making connections. Honestly, at Worldcon, I had 2 authors whose books I read and loved and raved about on my social media. They recognized me, one on the escalator, one I'm sitting, on my phone, and they were so happy to see me. I needed nothing from them, but it just made me feel great to know that both of them were like, "Your review helped so much." I love that because it means that I'm helping somebody else who's doing what I'm doing, trying to figure out how to make this industry survivable. If I can do that, I'm having a good day.
So you said 4 pillars, and you gave us newsletter, ads, and social media. Was there a 4th one, or did I miss one?
The 4th one is the product packaging, which comes down to your book cover. Your book cover is going to do 70 to 80% of the heavy lifting for you. So make sure it works. The title, right? That's super important. Dark Blade, there's no question what this book is about. The Last Bucellari, huh? What does that even mean, right? Hero of Darkness. Hero of Darkness is a great title. It's a very keyword-rich title, but it also tells you very clearly what you're going to expect. So the title is super important to tell readers this is what you're getting right off. Product, title, the blurb naturally is important, and the look inside, those first 1 or 2 chapters. You ruin your chances of making a sale with a boring first chapter. Don't do it. It's why I always like to start with some kind of battle, some kind of action, some kind of somebody's dying, because it's engaging. It automatically gets your heart pumping. It shows you a lot about who the character is by the way that they respond to a threat to their life, but also it's so much fun to just kick off a book with a battle. Any book that I read that starts with a cool battle, I'm instantly engaged for however long that battle lasts. And then I have to see, the character development and all of that. But they've got me a chapter or two in. That's as close to a sale guaranteed as you're going to get.
Rach says, I think saying social media is underplaying the genuine connections you're making through reading and interacting with other indies and reviewers. Yeah, there's something to be said for that. I mean, even here, we've had people who obviously have never met Mike say that he is a pillar of the community.
Yes, I'm heavy and I'm at the bottom, and everything is resting on my shoulders. I got it.
I love it.
I will tell you though, and I'm blanking on his name now. John, I think, from Talking
Tim McNeil.
Story.
Sure.
I said, hey, can I send you my book? And he's like, dude, you know how long my TBR is? I don't know when I can get to this. It's going to be years.
Yeah.
And I said, honestly, in 2 years from now, who's talking about this book? So, that's fine. Let me send it. So I sent it. He did a book on opening where it's like, hey, becoming a druid, Mike Woolman, blah, blah. Read the back, said, sounds great. 4 days later, I'm at a Comic-Con and I'm sitting there behind my table and the guy comes and goes, did Talking Story just talk about your book? I'm like, yes. He's like, I want to buy it. I'm like, oh, well, let me tell you about it. I was like, oh, shut up. He said he wants to buy it. Don't try to talk him out of it. But I saw him. I was like, hey, thank you, because it absolutely, 3 days later, I had someone say, I want your book because I saw it on his show. And that was just, you can't beat that.
No, and I love the fact that I can actually tell people who I like, send me your book. I want to read it. I was super lucky to connect with an author who is local to Vancouver. I just found out about him a couple of months ago. His name's Jackson Ford. Lovely dude. We hung out a couple of times. I was like, hey, you've got a new book coming out. Send it to me. And it's on my top 10 of the year list. So now I can genuinely rave about this book. And I get to tell my friend, dude, I loved your book. Like, there's nothing that I like more than helping a friend or somebody who I like succeed in some way. And like Rachel was saying, the karma of it all, I really would love for karma to just come and pay me back. But honestly, just being able to have a good friendship with people, or to have a positive relationship with people. Like, the fact is, Rachel wrote the Amplifier series. I fucking loved the first book. It's still on my shelf. Pocket of Lies. Right here. You saw it here. It's one of the best dark romantasy books that I've read. And so when I get to say this is a really good book, I get to say this is it genuinely, and knowing that it's someone who's cool, a fellow indie, it makes their day a little bit better, or it gets a sale for them. It's costing me nothing but a little bit of time, a little bit of energy, and a little bit of video editing. But if it makes a difference for them, I've got a video right now that's going sort of low-key viral on Facebook and TikTok. It's got maybe 250,000 views between the two of them, and it's a book review for an indie author. It's everything that I've wanted to do when I started my channel and decided, okay, I'm going to write book reviews. Obviously, I would love for one of my book recommendations of my own books to go viral, but I don't need it, in the sense of I've got the advertising, I've got the marketing, I've got the newsletter, I've got the direct sales. Everything is kind of supporting this. So having social media as another outlet to just be this guy who just loves books, because that's what I discovered through social media, honestly, through being on Instagram, that I love talking about books. I was at Dragon Con last year. I stood at the Athon table and I sold everybody else's books and my own as well. But it was just so much fun, because you're seeing people's faces light up when you give them a book recommendation, and it makes them happy and they have a good time like that. It is the best drug. I love telling people my one job is to feed your book addiction. As an author and as a content creator, it makes me so happy.
It's also nice to be able to wake up in the morning, knowing you're not a dick.
Yes, absolutely. Just being a genuinely good human being.
Right. Hey, before we get you into the ball dome, which I can't wait for, quite honestly. Hell. No, I had a question. I really did. Oh yeah, I got it. So do you do a lot of cons as sales? Because with that many books, that's got to be a burden.
I have only started doing conventions really as of last year because COVID shut everything down. I was
Yeah.
also living in sort of inland or sort of interior of British Columbia. So getting to even just driving to Vancouver Fan Expo, which is a fairly small one by comparison, that's a 4.5 hour drive. Now I live in Vancouver, so it's my backyard. Seattle, Emerald City Comic Con, Worldcon this year is my backyard. I want to do more conventions because I love those direct interactions with people. It's also a really good way to just get people like local readers as opposed to spending money entirely on advertising. You're connecting with people directly. You get time to talk with them at your table. You get time to talk with them at a bar. You get time to talk with them standing in line in a coffee cart, whatever it is, and you have those connections. And then if they buy your books or they hear you speak at a panel and something that you say they get to see it demonstrated in action in your books and it teaches them something and makes them a better writer. Like it's all upside as long as there's actually people to connect with. The con that has no people, well, obviously that's going to suck because there's nothing to do. But as long as there's people, I will stand there and I will just talk about any sort of books and stuff and anime and costumes all day long. It makes me very happy.
So,
Jesus.
Andy, you said a panel, and that reminded me. At Worldcon, when I had that tattoo on the back of my head, every panel I went to, I did not have my glasses, so I had to sit in the first or second row in the center. So everyone behind me is looking at that tattoo, and oddly enough, no one came up to talk to me.
Well,
But I thought about that after the fact. I was like, huh, yeah, I completely forgot it was there. Until I took a shower that night. It's like, oh yeah, it's there. But yeah, so there were a lot of people who had got to stare at that for like an hour.
I love that.
So there you go. I will put this space is for rent. The next time I go to Worldcon, and hit me up with an idea, people.
Perfect. I'll hire it out. I can just tattoo. Ask me about the hunter, and then there you go. Walking billboard.
Exactly. Hey, my rates are cheap.
Love it.
Yeah, you just have to pay for shampoo.
oh, Rach, cons are, even for people like Mike and I, cons are so much fun. It's just all people watching, really. It's a great time.
Yeah. I discovered that I am 51% extrovert. I was so certain I was an introvert. Like, honestly, up until maybe 5 years ago, I really did feel like I was very introverted. But then again, when I moved to Canada, my wife stayed back in Mexico for about 7 weeks, and I got a house for us to rent within 3 weeks. So for 4 weeks, I was alone with nobody to talk to except for virtual engagement. And I was like, okay, I need people. People keep me sane, and I actually feed off of that. And that kind of led me to understanding that I am extroverted. I am very limited in my extroversion. After this, I'm on right now. When this is done, I will not say another word the rest of the night, and I will be very happy to sit in a corner and read a little book. But I really do draw energy from people, which is what extroversion is. So I love the fact that I can just be on at a convention and then be off the rest of the time.
There has been nothing in the last 53 minutes that would have pointed me toward calling you an introvert. Not a single thing. But now we're reaching that time where we get to show Mike's mad dice skills and take you into a place he lovingly calls the Bald Dome. Okay. So we're going to ask you to pick one of your many, many characters that we can learn a little something about during this journey.
Okay.
Who would you like to bring into this thing?
Let's go with the Hunter, an easy one.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about him. So does he have any magic ability? What's his deal?
The Hunter is basically Wolverine and Captain America crossed, right? He's got sort of functionally super strength, super speed, great reflexes. He's functionally immortal. He can't be killed except with iron. He has a magical dagger that feeds him souls when he kills people. That's pretty much it.
Gee, just that?
That's pretty much it.
He's not OP at all. Okay.
Yeah, this is going to
The
end
beauty, the
badly.
beauty of this is that somebody else, you have 100 of somebody else's, they can kill them, sure.
Okay, so the hunter is being transported outside of your world.
Okay.
Um, and he has been transported to the crystalline cavern. And I apologize, I just had ChatGPT write these up, so there's very adjective heavy,
Okay.
but we'll go with it. The cavern glitters with colossal crystal formulations jutting from the stone floor, and each pulsating with kaleidoscopic colors. A faint melodic hum resonates through the air as bioluminescent insects dance around glowing stalactites. Ancient coins and ornate jewelry lay encased in the crystal, and ghostly white serpents slither silently across the glittering floor, their scales reflecting the colors of the crystals. So this is where he's been transported to.
Okay.
So, what is your favorite color, Andy?
Blue.
So he has a blue fizzy potion that the very forgetful alchemist who happens to be bald just said, "Oh yes, guaranteed 100% effective," but I forgot to label it. I don't know what it does. So here you go.
Okay.
So he has a blue fizzy potion. 100% will work on, the hunter or his adversary or encounter, whatever. Don't know what it does.
Okay.
So now the time comes when he doesn't come with any weapons or anything like that. Just he's wearing a basic tunic. So he gets to pick: does he want a regular item and he'll face like a regular animal, or does he want a weapon and he'll face like a D&D monster?
Weapon.
Which does he want? Yeah, I kind of figured. Okay. So where did I have it here? Sorry. So you have, of all things, you have a longsword,
Nice.
along with your blue fizzy potion. And you are sitting there looking at the crystal stalactites and stalagmites, and you walk around one, and lo and behold, and I blame Roe for this, you see a bullywug.
Okay.
Are you familiar with a bullywug?
I just Googled it. It is a giant frog.
Yes. So he is kind of looking at you, with those big bulbous eyes, looking kind of unhappy. And he's staring at the hunter, and he kind of really likes that blue potion, and is almost like he's trying to aim his tongue to, maybe try to steal it or something. So take it away. Tell us what happens, and I will warn you if you're like, well, he tries this, does it work? Then I will have to roll. I roll under an 8 at least 80% of the time. It makes no sense, but I do. So be warned, if I do, it's going to go badly for someone or everyone.
Even someone nigh on invincible and immortal, if he's ever going to die, it's going to be right here.
And it's going to be me who kills him.
We've got stakes. I love it.
And so no one believes my rolls are this bad, so I have to do this so that everyone can see what I actually roll.
Okay, so the hunter is not an aggressor.
Okay.
But he's not going to. So if he's going to look for a way, what we're going to say, a way out, a way back, he's going to give the frog thing a wide berth. But if that thing starts to come for that potion, that sword's coming up and chopping off tongues.
Oh, the bullywog is a bully. So yeah. And I think just to make it fun, let's give him like an iron sword or something.
Oh, real stakes.
If that's the only limb fact that your guy has, we're going to take advantage of it. So yeah, he will come after you.
Okay, so then the hunter's charging. He's not going to let the guy. He's going to get that sword out of the way.
Okay, Mike. Given all of his special skills, 12 or better.
That would be an 18.
Oh my God! Really?
Yes.
Are we going to count that though? Because that was right in the middle. That was right on the edge of the thing.
Would you like me to roll again?
I would, because you can roll a lot worse than that.
That'd be a 7.
There you go.
I mean, he is immortal, so
Right, we've got to give it a. So yeah, the frog ducks basically, and you get to turn around and face each other again.
Okay, I mean he's going for the hand holding the sword. He's not going.
He's like calling his shot.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay, all right. So he's going to be like that. Well then, Mike. 10 or better, because if he's calling his shot, it's going to be a little tougher. And if he fails, then the frog gets a chance to hit at a 13. So 10 or better first.
That'd be a 16.
Okay, so yeah, you disarm said frogman. What do you do?
Is there anywhere like I can kick the frog to get rid of it? Like, is there a convenient pit handy that I can send the frog into?
The frog is like 6 feet tall, weighs like 180.
That's fine.
Oh, okay. All right. You can kick him anywhere you want.
All right. So, I mean, here we go. If there's a conveniently sharp crystal nearby, he's just going to propel him right at it. Just be done with this.
Okay. Mike, anything above a 3, he should be able to kick it, right? That shouldn't be a problem. So let's do that first.
That's a 6.
Okay.
Oh, I was really hoping for a nat 1. That would have been spectacular.
It's happened before. It's crazily happened before. Okay, so now let's give us a 12 or better for directional kick.
15. I am not rolling terrible today.
You are just really hammering
it,
this.
Mike.
So yeah,
I'm trying.
Right into said crystal. Was it a crystal that's going to impale him?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well, I will say it then. The frog croaks.
Nice. Yes.
No,
Honestly, that's the ending place that we deserved.
That's beneath me. I feel bad for even uttering the words.
No. That is peak level comedy. Puns are the worst and the highest form of comedy. Done right, a pun is worth its weight in gold.
You got along great with Joe Byrne, didn't you?
He didn't. That frog had no chance at all.
No.
I mean, when you said Wolverine and Captain America, it was like, well, Christ, come on.
Yeah, I wish I would have known it would have been. I would have chosen, one of the younger characters or something. But hey, the Hunter, he comes off looking cool.
Okay. All right. Well, we usually ask people to show their books again, but pick one or two if you'd like.
Well, this is just the latest Darkblade. There we go.
What's the first book that people should start with?
Darkblade. It's the first one that I wrote. Like this, originally it was The Hero of Darkness, but it's the first book that I ever wrote and introduced my world. So you learn about the gods and the cultures and customs and all of that, and everything else just kind of builds on top of it. But this is the best starting point for sure.
All right, Darkblade Assassin people, that's where you need to start.
Yeah.
And I just have to throw in that I feel bad for Rachel and the other indie authors because your books are going to take up all those shelves here in another year or two, and they're going to be pushed off camera.
I hope so. I would love to have one bookshelf full of my books. I will just have more bookshelves for all their books. But the day comes that I can fill up a full bookshelf. I've only got like 1 1/4 or 3/4 shelves right now. I need to step up my game.
Do you have a goal? Do you have a goal like 100 books or something like that?
No, I just plan to write until my brain turns to mush and my fingers fall off. That's kind of.
So
Bro, if his goal was 100 books, he'd only have 10 more years of writing, and then he'd have to find a new hobby. So
Fair enough.
No, I feel like as long as I still love the work of it all, because the storytelling part will always be fun, but the work to sort of extract the story and tell the story, as long as that's fun, which I honestly think it will be, because it is sort of my therapy, it's my safe space, it's my self-reflection, my awareness of who I am as a human being. It's everything that I need, aside from the fact that it pays my bills. Like my retired life, when it comes down to it, is just writing more slowly. That's kind of what I feel. So
yeah, nice. Well, you've given us all something to aspire to.
I will say that having read a lot of the books by the people who were in the chat, they're on a path that in many cases I aspire to be like having read this one, I'm like, I really should write a romantasy novel. I don't have the verbiage to do all the sort of the feminine aspect of romantasy, but I love the combination of the grimdark and the romance, and that's what I want to do. So I admire so many of the authors in this chat on this screen. I just want to be as cool as they are. Really, that's kind of, we're all just chasing that feeling of cool that we read. You know, we see an author that we love and we want to be like them.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, Matt
Right.
and Mark, you did make it in. Barely.
We're just signing off.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Andy. It's been a great hour. About the only thing we have left to do is to wave awkwardly as we wait for the stream to end. So
Thank you, Andy. Thank you.